Alright, hello and welcome back to Forgotten Dailies. I seen a video the other day on YouTube that was interesting. The gentleman was talking about $1,000 beater cars. Do they still exist? Beater car, winter car, work car, whatever you want to call it. I think they do, if you're lucky. If you watch Facebook Marketplace or any selling platform, you see today's market, these cars are crazy. So many cars that they're asking, $1,000 and no title, or $1,000 and it's blowed up, or it's wrecked, or it's completely rotted away, or it's just total junk. The $200, $300, $400 drivers are definitely gone. So we're going to do a challenge on this car. This is a 2000. I don't even know. Let me look. I think it's an 07. Yeah, four of 06, so 06 maybe? Yeah, 06. Chevrolet HHR. Nothing special about the car other than the fact it is what it is. It does run. So a story on this car. I did some work for a friend of mine. He was in dire need, and he had a little Dodge, and I ended up replacing the front K-member, the control arms, the struts, the brakes, basically everything under the front of the car. And I didn't charge him because I knew he was in a tight spot, and just try to help a friend out. So fast forward a couple of years later, and he helped me out because he had this car, had been sitting for 3 or 4 years, and he got a hold of me and said, "Hey, come and get this thing." So friendly, I got this car for $100, which is extremely unheard of today. But anyway, we're going to start off with this car, and we're going to see if we can get it on the road, running and driving daily for the winter for under $1,000. So I'm already starting off, very well at only having $100 in the car. So it isn't much to look at. It's just your typical Chevy HHR. Right now I'm putting it on the trailer to take it to a friend's house. He's going to put all new brake lines on it for me. I can do it. I just don't have time. I'm so busy with all these other cars that it's just easier. Plus, he's got a car that I'm going to pick up from him that's going to become a parts car. So we're going to kind of do some trading and whatnot. But so I think I paid $30. I'll figure it out and add it into the video. For the brake line, I got some rubber hose because the fuel line's leaking. It's going to, again, this isn't a car to resell. This is a car that I'm going to drive personally through the winter and park my Tundra, because of the salt. I don't want the salt killing my truck if I can avoid it. So if I can get into this car for under $1,000, then by all means, I'm game. But I got an oil change for it. It was on sale Black Friday, Dollar General, buy one, get one free. So I bought 6 quarts. Obviously, there's more than I need. Bought wiper blades for it. I found them, buy one, get one free at Myers. Black Friday. And then it's dirty, as you can see. I got for another friend that's going to clean it for me as best he can. I don't think it'll all come out, but again, I don't care. I do care to an extent. I'm not going to drive a car that has that on it. So he's going to do his best to clean up, move my coffee cup, that stuff. Because I'm not going to drive a car that looks like that. But the back seat, nobody's going to ride in it. So if it's still got, which looks like rust stains to me. But whatever that is, he'll shampoo it the best he can. And we'll go from there. These cars are actually kind of cool. Never had one. I had a PT Cruiser and I did not like it at all. But, they got tons of room. The back seats lay down. And then under this carpet is this plastic tray that can actually move up to here and make a shelf like a PT Cruiser has. So my thinking on this is when I go to the U-Pullets and get parts, I can utilize this instead of the Tundra for fuel economy, mostly. And, you lay the back seats down, and this thing will probably haul a fair amount of parts. So that's the plan. We'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. As you can see, it's mildew and gross, and it's very windy here today. I apologize if it winds in the video. So anyhow, $1,000 car challenge. Can you still find them? I'm going to say yes. but I'm also going to say yes if you're lucky, or yes if you're willing to do some work and spend some money to get it on the road. This one needs new tires. I think I found them at Walmart for like 250 bucks, something like that. So I think when I'm done, I'll definitely be into this car under $1,000. So right now we're going to get it put on the trailer. So as soon as my buddy says to bring it over and drop it off, I can do that, and then it's loaded and done. So I'll take it over there, let him do what he's got to do to it. I'll let you know what I ended up paying him, and I'll figure out how much I have in the oil change and the wiper blades and the brake lines and the fuel lines, and then we'll see where we're at when we're done. So I'll update it again, see what we can come up with. So it has taken me probably a half an hour to get this far. So of course you got to remove the oil fill cap, which is no big deal, but then there's two nuts on the back side that mount to a bracket that you have to take the nuts off to get the bracket out, and then of course you've got it hooked to the throttle body. There's a wire there, and then this hose has got to come off, and I'm like, what in the world? This is horrible. This is dumb. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, because I've never even touched one of these HHRs. Somebody else knows more than me, by all means. You know, you're free to call me an idiot. I've been called worse. So, anyways, just to get the air filter out has taken me about a half an hour. So then once you get the air, this whole contraption off the car, you have to go in here, and there's all these, I think there's 8 or 7 little screws that connect this to that. And then the air filter sits obviously inside this box. This is the air filter that came out. Believe it or not, it really isn't that bad. It still shows lots and lots of daylight. So it probably would have been fine. My fear, and the reason I took it out, was because the car, is sitting for so long. I was afraid that mice had gotten in there and made a mess, and I just wanted to check it out, just, for the car's sake. Anyway, this filter, gone. Even though it's probably good, and I'm going to go ahead and put a new one in. It's already here. It's already paid for. It was like $9. So as big of a fight it was to get this apart, I'm putting a new one in, calling it a day. I'm going to clean out the inside of the airbox and put it back together. So as far as the car goes, I've got a cabin filter for it. I still need to figure out why the blower motor's not working. I was going to run a jumper wire from a hot in the ground and see if I can get it to roll, or to run. And if I can, and I don't want to chase wires, because I've been reading up on these. Apparently it's a wiring nightmare. It's a bad ground or something somewhere. And worst case scenario, I will put an on and off switch on it and call it a day. I don't care that much. So we're trying to get this car on the road for under $1,000. Right now, I think we paid $100 for the car. I got right around $50 or $60 for the rubber hose and the brake lines. So, and then I ordered new wiper blades, oil filter, and oil, air filter, cabin filter. I think that was it. I'd have to look at my receipts, but I know I'm well under $100 on that. So give or take, we'll go on the high side. And as of making this video, with the car still needing tires, we're at $300. I looked online, and I can get some tires for the car. Again, I don't need anything fancy. I just need it to run the 10 miles back and forth to work, and then the occasional road trip, maybe to go get parts or something. But they're $55 a piece. I may go a little more and spend like $65. I don't know. And then of course you got to pay the install for that. So I'm probably going to be just shy of $300, maybe $300 by the time I pay tax on new tires. So if I can do that, that gets us in under or at $600. Still can't talk. Sorry. So if I can get in there at this car for, $600, I'm cool with that. My buddy's not going to charge me a whole lot to clean the inside, thankfully. That's the one nice thing about having friends that have their own business, whatnot. But I did vacuum it, and it cleaned up, but it's still just, see, the back seat is just trashed. I don't know if that'll come clean. I figured worst case scenario, we can make it as clean as we can. So, but everything works inside except for the blower motor. All the windows work, the radio works, the rear wiper works. I haven't tried to redefrost. The headlights work. I got to replace a turn signal bulb and I think a brake light bulb, which I'm not going to put that in the cost, I guess, because I already have a bunch of those on hand from other cars that I've parted. So, yeah, I'm going to do another video to finish this one out, hopefully, as soon as I get a chance to finish this car. And we'll see where we're at on the $1,000 challenge. Alright, so I'm going to finally finish this video. This video started many, many months ago. I don't know, 4 months ago, give or take, something like that. It was probably actually longer than that. Anyways, the task started out with, can you still buy a daily driver and have under $1,000 into it? So I wanted to see if I could do that. I picked this car up, and as of right now, I am right at $1,000 total in it, or maybe a shy above. I guarantee I have less than $1,100 in it, and I'll go over the details here right now. So this is our 2006 Chevrolet HHR. This is not my first choice when it comes to a daily driver, but the price was right on the car. It was a friend of mine. He needed it out of his driveway. It had sat for 3-4 years. We're not 100% certain, but 3 or 4 years, and was unmoved. It was nasty, as you can see in the other videos, and just a dirty car that had been sitting. The car needed brake lines and fuel lines when I picked it up. I believe in the other videos, it's been a long time since I've done this, so I apologize if I repeat myself. I had a friend of mine, I took the car to him to do the fuel and brake lines, just simply because, one, I hate doing brake lines, and two, I just didn't have time. As it turned out, I was going to pay him. We was going to talk about price when he was done, whatever. He's a friend of mine, so he's going to treat me right. As it turned out, I bought a car to part out, and he wanted that car, so we worked out a deal, and basically I got the brake lines and the fuel lines replaced for parts only. So I believe I have about $50, give or take, in the brake lines and fuel lines. I bought the nickel copper brake lines and the high pressure rubber hose, because I said to just put some rubber hose on it. I'm not going to replace all the steel line because it was only about a 2-foot section that was bad. And the high pressure clamps, call it a day, because I'm doing the driving on the car, so I don't care. Now, if I was going to have one of my kids driving it, I might have done it different. But since it's me, yeah, we're all cheap in some ways. The car has brand new wiper blades all the way around, if you want to consider that. I believe Dollar General at Christmas time had a buy one get one free on those, so I got bought the two front ones. I got one of them for free. The rear one I had to buy. I don't remember what I paid for it. I had the receipts, but they got all wet and destroyed. I had an issue with the blower motor on the car. The blower motor wasn't working. I ended up replacing the blower motor. If you've never replaced a blower motor in an HHR or one of these little cars, you have to cut it out with an X-Acto knife. And then the new one has tabs on it where you can screw it in. Now, factory, there's holes there where the new ones, the aftermarket ones, screw in too. So I don't know why they designed it that way, but they did, so it is what it is. While I was at it, I replaced the cabin air filter and ended up having to replace one of the fuses out under the hood for the blower motor. That was actually the reason why it wasn't working. However, it also wasn't working because of moisture, water getting in through the cowl area. And I found out on that there's a little thin, rubbery, plasticky, I don't even know what you call it, cover that they glued over top of this big hole. And with time and age, it kind of gets old and warped and whatnot. You can't even see it. I got it back together. I fixed it today. So hopefully no more water gets in there. I used an adhesive and real heavy duty tape and taped it down solid. Hopefully it should hold. But that was the reason why the blower motor went out, because what it done was it got moisture in there, water in it, and then it rusted, and when it turned on, it obviously got too hot and blew a fuse. So those are replaced. I had to put a left front caliper on the car because the bleeder screw had twisted off when he was bleeding the brakes. That was like $12 at the pick-a-pull. Again, you know, it was there. I was there when it happened, actually, at the pull apart. So I just grabbed one off of another car that I found the bleeder was good. I did put brand new tires all around the car. I think I had $380 in 4 new tires. That was my biggest expense, honestly, on the car. Getting them mounted, balanced, and then the tires themselves. They're not a super name brander. Fallsway, I think I got them from the big box store, Walmart. Replaced the air filter under the hood. Of course, changed the oil. Those are give-ins. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else I replaced on this silly thing. I'll go along here anyways. So the car was dirty, filthy, just gross. I'm actually going to run it with the back seat down because this rear seat is still just, I don't know what was laying there, but something was laying there, and of course it just stained the heck out of the seat. I may, if I feel like it, go to the pull apart and see if I can find another back seat. They're not that expensive. I think I looked today and they charge like $35, which is cheap. So if I can find one there, and if they're not too difficult to pull, I might go ahead and pull it. But you can see it's still got, I don't know, mildew or something on it. I had to replace a turn signal brake light bulb. Again, that's minor. So another thing on these, the day I picked it up and the first time I actually drove the car was from my buddy's house back home, and it's maybe a mile. It would not shift into overdrive. The speedometer wasn't working, and then the gauge thing was giving me a electric power steering light. So I'd done some research on that and found that if you run a jumper wire from the TCM to the strut tower, that'll fix it. Of course, I was skeptical at first, but that's exactly what I did, and it's exactly fixed it. And apparently it's a grounding issue. These are known, as I'm finding out, for having ground issues. So that has been fixed. I've driven the car to work twice. The first time it was clunking really bad, and I discovered that the left front control arm was bad. So that was a $45 part off of Amazon, and I put the control arm on myself. The steering wheel still runs down the road about like this, so it's a little crooked. It drives straight, so I don't know why it does that. If I ever get my other buddy over here, I'm going to see if he'll help me do a garage alignment on it just to see. I don't know what's going on with that. Truthfully, I don't really care. If we can fix it, cool. If we can't, whatever. It is what it is. I replaced the driver's side sun visor. Again, it must be a common issue. What it would do is it would just fall down on its own and lay about, and it's hard to see in the video, but lay about here. Because the reason I say it must be a common issue is because when I went to the pull apart, the first 3 or 4 that I looked for this driver's side sun visor, it was already gone. That tells me it must be a common part to go bad. And it's something like that is super minor, but when it's dropping down and blocking your vision, obviously that's not a good thing. All in all, the car needs a good detailing. I have another friend that's going to do that for me now that I've got it driving and the weather's finally cooperated. I'm going to run it over to his house and let him detail the inside as good as he can do, because it's just stained up. So I'm going to buy some cheap floor mats for it. I'm going to get my Sirius radio in it because I can't stand AM/FM. The rear speakers in the doors don't work. And again, I found out that they're known for going bad because of water getting on them. I took the driver's door panel off tonight and discovered that the speaker itself is bad. I had another speaker and jumped the wires over and got it to work. Of course, typical, OE speaker system, it's a special design, and it's probably specific to the HHR only, so now I got to figure that out if I want rear speakers, or just say the heck with it and keep on driving. That's more of a necessity, or a want over a necessity. So necessities on the car, again, like I said, I've replaced, what it needed to get it driving. It does run and drive. It's getting about 25-ish miles per gallon. I don't know if it's supposed to get higher than that. But even at 25 miles per gallon, that's 10 miles or more per gallon better than my truck. And then it also is going to help keep the miles down on the truck. This is definitely not one of my first choices in cars. It's not horrible, but it's definitely not the best. But, like I said before, the price was right. And, we'll make do with what we have. It's got your typical bubble in the back here, the quarter, the paint's all faded and garbage. But, who cares? I truly don't. It runs down the road. It's still got a little clunk in the front end. I'm thinking it's the sway bar bushings, as it sounds like it's coming from the center of the car. So I'm assuming that those are bad. I may replace those later on. I'm going to drive it for a while just to see what it does. The air does not work. So I'm going to shoot a can of Freon in it once it gets a little warmer. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I can run with the window down. Shoot a can of Freon in it and see what happens. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, well, not out much. I've got a bunch of those laying here. So this is going to be the end, and then I'm going to start the beginning, I guess. Kind of start over. Can you get $1,000 car today, 2024? It's difficult, I will say. Especially one that's, a halfway decent car. I can buy cars all day long for $400 or $500, but obviously you're not going to get in them and drive them. If you know how to fix them, you know how to work on them, and if you shop around for parts, that's another thing, real quick, sidetrack. I had to have the exhaust patched because it had come apart right at the resonator. So they cut the resonator out and put a piece of pipe in. It still has the converter on it, and it still has the muffler. It's a little louder than it should be because of that, but it's not obnoxious at all. So anyways, $1,000 car. If you can do the work, a lot of the work yourself, you could probably do it if you hunt and you look. The problem with a lot of these cars in Ohio and the Rust Belt states is, rust just kills them. This one here is already starting to rust on the bottom, where the rear, the axle or whatever, where the rear control arms and all that connect. Probably another 3 or 4 years, driving through winters in Ohio, it'll probably, end its life there. So, meanwhile, we're just going to keep driving it. I do like the fact that you can pop this hatch, and there is quite a bit of room in this thing. So my plan with it is, like Sunday I went to the U-Pull-It. This would have been the car to take. I ended up taking the truck, but I probably should have drove this. It's better on gas, less miles on the truck, like I said. And honestly, I could fit everything that I bought in the back of this thing. You could just about get a hood in here, but not quite. So, if I was going after fenders or, whatever bigger stuff, we'd have to cross that bridge when we got there. Anyways, I appreciate you watching this. This video is definitely taking me a long time to get done. I'm going to finish it out, close it out, post it. Hopefully get you to like, follow, subscribe to some of the stuff that I do. And I appreciate you watching, and I definitely hope you have a great day.